Just got a couple of things I want to report to the Quorum Court. First of all, our garden did extremely well. We took several hundred pounds of groceries to Reed Springs, Veritable, and Green Forest, and we received a very, very nice thank you card from the Flint Street Food Bank in Eureka Springs, and I presented it to my trustees who were responsible for getting gardens up and running, and it really made an impression on them. They were very grateful that they took the time to say thank you. The other thing is, starting Sunday, we're going to 12-hour shifts at the detention center. We've been looking at it for about 3 months now, talking to the employees and going out to the neighboring counties that have the 12-hour shift, and it's been very, very beneficial. Jackson County, Boone County, Washington County, I contacted the Arkansas Association of Sheriffs, and they have done a survey for me, which hasn't been completed. They haven't sent it to me, but they just verbally told me that the offices that are on the 12-hour shift are very, very pleased with it, and it's working well. So we're going to implement it Sunday, and I can't believe it, but we told every employee told what their shift was going to be, and it's one of those things that's all worked out for every one of the employees. Now, why are we doing this? The main reason we're doing it is because we've had many, many discussions about the contact. And we have a minimum of 5 jailers per shift, which does not give us any flexibility at all. And quite often we have to transport prisoners to Berkey's, to Texarkana. That is a 12-hour drive to and from. Many times, if they need additional people in the court, we're transporting males and females to and from court. We're always putting people on comp time because of the fact that we only have 5 people on shift. It's a minimum. For example, just a month ago, we put on jail standard training for 6 of our jailers as a 40-hour class. So that 240 hours in the classroom cost me 360 hours of content. There's another in the classroom, I had to bring in people on content for the shift. This gives us a flexibility where we've been looking at every different possible issue. So now we're not only going to be able to reduce comp time, at the same time we're going to be able to provide our jailers with training that we couldn't do in the past. For example, in Washington County are constantly having training for jailers. We can't send our jailers because it's an 8-hour class. We have to pay them transportation to and from, so we have to give people comp time to do it. This way, by going to a 12-hour shift, we have flexibility where if somebody's going to go to a class, we still have an individual there that can cover the shift. So right now, based on polling the other jails, that is working out really well. So we're going to implement it this Sunday, and we're going to see how it works.
Another question. First of all, if it's working for all the other counties, I think the world press too, that you talk about cutting comp time, are we going to go along to a 36-hour week or a 48-hour week?
It's a 40-hour week. A 40-hour week.
On 12-hour shifts?
Yeah, one week I'll have 3 days off, the second week I'll have 4 days off.
Okay.
So right now, even though we do the 12-hour shift, there's no comp time involved in the schedule.
Okay.
Sounds good, Sheriff.
Well, like I said, what really surprised us is after polling all the employees and saying, how would this affect their schedule? And we decided to do it this Sunday because the school's starting, because they're going to be making some plan for the kids in school, and then if we went to a 12-hour shift, they had to change all their plans. So we thought we implemented it Sunday, and like I said, it's working out well for all the employees.
In the week when they work 48 hours, you're going to have 8 hours of overtime.
No.
It's overtime is 40 hours per work week.
They're only going to be putting in, overtime is only when we get over 43, then they get time and a half. Because they're considered to be law enforcement. Okay. So they fall under that category. But they're only going to be working an 80-hour week.
But then it's over 43 hours a week, which means 5 hours of overtime.
Any hour over 40, Between 40 and 43 is straight time.
Okay, but over 43 to 48 is 5 hours of overtime.
That's correct. Okay.
So we're just gonna go ahead and pay that, so there won't be any comp time, but we're gonna be paying.
In 1 week, they're going to be working, rather than working a 12-hour shift, they're going to be working a 8-hour shift. Because we have the flexibility, so they don't have to put in 12 hours that day. So we're going to get back to, they'll just be working 8. The other counties I've talked to are not even making any changes. They're going ahead and paying the employees for the additional time anyways, it's straight time. But we're going to work it out where it's just going to be an 80-hour payment. 80 hour. Every 2 weeks will be 80 hours.
Sheriff, isn't law enforcement time figured on, 172 hours a month?
Yeah, it boils down to about 43 hours per week.
Right.
And anything over that is time and a half.
Right, so if, as I remember from when we were working on the personnel manual, in law enforcement personnel, as long as your monthly schedule works out to below the limit, there's no, so I'm confused. Are you saying we are going to be paying some overtime, or we aren't?
No overtime.
There should be no overtime if you stick to this 36-48 schedule. They should fall within that monthly 170, whatever it is, hour allowance.
Yes.
That's what I thought the law was.
Police and fire would fall under different.
I knew fire did.
Police is same thing.
Okay.
Yeah. So we can do this with no overtime, no additional comp, and it should work for us.
Like, for example, where we're going to have a big advantage is that when we transport prisoners to Berksey or Texarkana, that's a 12-hour trip. And so every time we had to transport prisoners, had to go pick up a witness for court, there was automatic comp time involved in it. This way, if it's done during a 12-hour shift, the person is there and back, it's not going to process any comp time at all.
It sounds like the savings in comp time is just due to those occasions when some action required more than 8 hours of time to do it, right?
Oh, yeah, especially during the second shift is where a lot of it occurs, because not only are we providing the bailiffs for the court, but if that bailiff should be sick or on vacation, I still have to give him a jailer for bailiff. If I had male and female prisoners going to court, then I have to have a male and female jailer transporting the prisoners. Sometimes there's 2 courts going on, so I have to have transport for both. And then there's times where the variable district court, where they can't provide a bailiff, then I have to substitute give them bailiff. So just during the week, transporting prisoners back and forth, picking up witnesses, doing the bailiff in the court, transport, that's the shift that causes us a lot of grief. So this 12-hour shift should work out fine. It's going to be from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Thank you, Judge. Sheriff, it sounds like a great way to manage the people, their time on work and off work, and reducing comp time. We're talking about reducing greatly comp time. You're not going to get a limit, it's got to be clear. There's still going to be things that come up. So we should not expect to see a comp time figure.
No, absolutely not. I would never say that. But the nice thing about it is that right now we can't have people take time off to burn off comp time, because then I have to bring somebody in on comp time to take care of that comp time. This way, with the scheduling, the way it is, we have the flexibility that if towards the end of the pay period, if somebody has filled up some comp time, if we have the time and we have the full coverage on the shift, then we can tell the person to take comp time. I mean, not comp time, take time off. Oh, sorry.
I had something I was gonna bring up under miscellaneous, and I might still need to wait for there, but there's gonna be some questions for the sheriff. A few months ago, we approved adding a second bailiff or a man to man the metal detectors for circuit court and all things like that, because once court started, the bailiff was in here, nobody's up here. Are we paying a man to be back here for the Quorum Court meetings?
Got anything on the clock? Yes.
When did we agree on that? And if everybody wants it, that's fine, but I don't think we need it for Quorum Court meetings. my 2 cents.
But it's at the request of the courts that we're doing it. I mean, really, I would say we should never take the attitude it will never happen here. I think it's a good idea to have the bailiff here. I think it's a good idea.
You guys are sitting by Sam, so it's up to you guys.
Joe's got his back.
But in
I
this case,
I
with
wonder
John,
about the
it's not
expense as
on
well. So I also question that as a necessary expense for the Quorum Court meetings.
Now, I can live with it either. I'm not gonna argue about it. I just want the people to be aware of it and think about it.
I've thought about it too. We've been doing it the last few months, and we've never done it in the past, and there's never been a real problem. And I don't know. I don't know that it's worth the expense. If something were to happen, it would certainly be worth whatever it costs. And strange things happen all over the world now, so we just need to think carefully about doing it. I'm not sure where it started from. Did you decide to do it, Sheriff?
Security meeting.
Okay. Okay, it's a court security meeting where the court security people decided we needed security for this court.
I wasn't at that meeting, so I don't know. I just know that we received a request to have a deputy here during the Quorum Court meeting, which we agreed with. Was that a request?
I was at that meeting, and there's a courtroom security people from all over the county that's been appointed to that committee. And Judge Crowe suggested it, and the committee approved it. They wanted to, anytime anything was happening in here, they wanted a bailiff in here, no matter what it was.
Bob, if I'm used to working 8 hours a day and then work 12 hours, am I as proficient
I was told.
working 12-hour shifts?
You always have that possibility where maybe you can get, say, you're not as alert or effective or efficient in what you're doing. This is why this is a trial basis, and it's based on not only what we're seeing, what it means as far as reducing comp time, but at the same time, it's going to, I think, reduce the turnover that we're having. The reason being is several of the jailers, now that they know what their shift is, says because some of our single parents, they have kids coming in, some of them now seeing this as an opportunity to get a second job. And the other thing is that you maintain interest if the people are getting training. Because the only training we give is the jail standards. That's the only training we're providing them. So by giving them additional training and keeping them alert and on top of things that are going on, they can in turn interact with jailers from other counties, see what works well, what does not work well. And I think it's going to maintain their interest in the job. So I think it may even reduce our turnover.
I think it's a good deal. I was just asking some curiosity questions on it. I think it'll work good for you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff.